Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a second episode of Sports Nation. Just like the first episode, this was an impromptu episode. I am under the weather, dealing with a cold, head cold, all this whatnot. And I said, "Man, I can't sleep, can't relax. What can I do? Let's talk sports." And what I want for Sports Nation is to go over the top news in sports, at least not everything, but most of it or some of it. So we'll just get right into that. And for whoever's joining me this late hour, I appreciate you tuning in. If you're anywhere other than YouTube, hop on over, hit that like and subscribe button, and put your comments below what your thoughts are on today's topics. And of course, I'd like to start with the NFL. And of course, we do have a division winner already. December 2nd was the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East after destroying or beating down on the San Francisco 49ers. They win the AFC East, which is bad news, of course, or really just disheartening news that we already knew was going to happen for fellow Dolphin fans and even the New York Jets who were high on expectations after signing Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh they had there. They traded for Devontae Adams. They figured, hey, there are a lot of pundits chose the New York Jets to win the AFC East. A lot of people picked the Dolphins to win the AFC East. Third year under McDaniel. Tua almost have an MVP last year. Halfway through the season, Tyreek Hill, 1,800 yards, Jalen Waddle, everything, the number one offense in football. They thought these two teams were going to compete for the AFC East against the Buffalo Bills. Some people said the Buffalo Bills were going to drop off. It did not happen. The Buffalo Bills got stronger without Stephon Diggs. Win the AFC East. The Dolphins are at the Jets are at the basement. The Dolphins are almost there. If they lose against the Patriots, which some, more than likely will not happen, but any given Sunday, if they lose, you could just shut the door. So the Buffalo Bills, again, trading away Stephon Diggs at the beginning of the year. Many people said that the Buffalo Bills were going to drop off. Josh Allen was going to be exposed. That does not seem to be the case. It looks like the Buffalo Bills were probably, to me, end up being the number one seed in the AFC. I do believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will eventually be exposed and fall back probably to the second seed, more than likely, and where the road to the Super Bowl goes through, at least in the AFC, through the Buffalo Bills. As much as I would like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry, a non-quarterback, to win that MVP award, it's looking more and more like it will be Josh Allen's award to lose. Moving on, staying in the AFC East is a topic close to home, the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel. My goodness. The Miami Dolphins had so much high expectations at the beginning of the year, before the season. No matter which type of Dolphin fan you were, you believed with the talent of this roster, even with the quarterback situation, because I know a lot of you aren't happy with Tua's quarterback, believe Miami could have a decent enough roster to win the good enough amount of games to get back into the playoffs. That does not seem to be the case. Now, technically, yes, the Miami Dolphins are still alive in the AFC to make a wild card spot. But Miami got no favors yesterday. None of the teams that were supposed to lose lost yesterday. Okay? Then Miami puts out a bad performance against Green Bay in the cold, in Lambeau, under the bright lights. And then you have players, Jordan Brooks on air in an interview saying, we played soft and they outplayed us, against Buffalo. One of our own players one of the Dolphins players calling their own team soft, when just a couple weeks before, you had Deshaun Elliott, a former safety of the Miami Dolphins, calling the team soft. And you had players coming out going off on him, but now your own players call you soft. The reason why this is a topic here is because it seems more and more there's some leaks coming out of the Miami Dolphins franchise now, some cracks being exposed, that it might not be as kumbaya as they want to play it off to be. First off, before going into this, you had the reports coming out that, we knew that Shaq Barrett came out of retirement. He wants to play with the Dolphins, whatever, if you're happy or not happy about that. But he wanted to come out with the Dolphins. Dolphins ended up saying, no, we're not going to bring you back. He ends up having to be sitting out for the year. Then you have Mike McDaniel coming out and Coach Anthony Weaver, a D coordinator, the Dolphins D coordinator, coming out and saying they knew nothing about Shaq Barrett. They didn't know until the news came out. So Chris Grier knew the day before or days before and never talked to his coach or his defensive coordinator. Did not give them the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, maybe we need this guy. Maybe this will be an addition to our defense that could help us beat a team like the Green Bay Packers or the coming up the New York Jets. Maybe that would be the case. But he didn't. So you start to question what's going on in Miami. Where's the break in communication? Now, coming here to, is Mike McDaniel losing the locker room? There was a tweet earlier today, earlier today, or, now it would be yesterday, 10:20 a.m. from NFL notifications. And I know you take everything with a grain of salt, unless it's Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or Jeff Darlington, whomever. You got to take everything with a very thin grain of salt. However, NFL notifications at NFL Notify, 55,000 followers. They've had tweets that they've leaked out in the past and they've come true. So you don't know. So that's why I say take it with a grain of salt. But this is what he says. The Dolphins locker room is beginning to fall apart. There are many players on the team that view the team as soft, and the list continues to grow. One player gave a very blunt answer for the reason for this. Doesn't name the player, quote unquote. It starts with the coach. He was shivering the entire game in the locker room. He was standing next to a heater. This is supposed to be our leader. Now, I don't know. I know a lot of people said he was shivering. I did not see that. I don't know. The thing that jumps out to me the most is the soft comment. This team, we know this team is not a physical team. The Dolphins are a finesse football team. But they haven't been all year, really. They haven't used their speed as a strength. They try to be physical with less physical guys. And when you get smacked in the mouth by teams like Buffalo and Green Bay and teams that are just better than you, it's great to win against bad teams. You haven't beat them all year. You finally started beating them the last 2 weeks before the Green Bay mess. And now you finally go against a worthy opponent, somebody who's strong, and you get smacked down on live TV on Thanksgiving night. That's not a good look, especially when you had hopes that you were going to be a playoff team at the end of the season. And the whole soft comment, listen, it's not like that's I don't believe that's a player on camera said it to a reporter. We played soft. So do I believe that part? Absolutely. Could Coach McDaniel quickly lose the Miami Dolphins locker room, especially after all this hype and all this hoopla? Sure. We know he's losing the fan base. That doesn't matter to the organization, of course. But the honeymoon is over with the fan base. Is it going to be over with the team, with the players as well? Greg, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in, brother. I appreciate you, man. The season is over. It's time to fire Graham McDaniels. Look, I told Fitzstanza earlier today, and forgive me, I'm a little clogged up here, but like I told Fitzstanza earlier today, he called me. I sent him this tweet, and I meant to call him yesterday. He called me, messed up the call, blah, blah. But told him, look, now that the AFC East is officially won, it's Buffalo's division now, again, 10 years in a row? I don't know. Once Miami's officially eliminated, which it will be soon, if Miami loses another game, if Miami drops an egg against the Jets, that's what I believe you'll start to see heads roll. Once the season is officially over, I believe you might start to see the heads roll. Now, I know friend of the channel, constant viewer, Cat for Life, has said that it's being reported that down south in Miami that more than likely the three-headed monster will return to the Dolphins, and I would have considered Garfunkel a part of that, but Chris Grier, Mike McDaniel, Could they be back? We know that Stephen Ross is a loyal guy. We know he keeps guys longer than he should. But does he actually stake in his mind, in his heart of hearts, that this is the right way to go? Miami, this team that had all this money and draft capital spent on this roster, all this hype and hoopla on this football team, that you're giving out this performance, that you're looking like this week in and week out. And there's legit talent on this roster. Yeah, the players have to execute. But at the end of the day, that reflects on your coach. That's why, when people keep bringing up Tua, look, I get it. He's not the perfect quarterback. Who is? Fact of the matter is, it's not all on Tua. This falls on your head coach. And yes, it falls on the GM as well. He put this roster together. Oh, what our quarterback was hurt. I don't give a damn. You're the one who put this roster together. You didn't get a good enough backup. Greer and McDaniel, you weren't good enough to coach your backups up. Skylar Thompson regressed. He's been put down to a third-string quarterback now. Tyler Huntley's back. He's now been promoted to the second string. He'll be the second string against the Jets. And Skylar, who's been here for 3 seasons, who played a playoff game 3 seasons ago, who many people had high expectations just as a backup, regressed. That's on Coach McDaniel and his staff. So does it surprise me things like this are leaking out? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see what goes down with the Miami Dolphins. It's a crappy feeling as a Dolphins fan to keep going through this rinse and repeat, washer, dryer type of situation. Do we want to fire our coach again and go all through this again? Yeah. Yes. You need to set high expectations, and you need to pound the table for your team to execute. If these guys aren't getting it done, how much help does Chris Greer or Mike McDaniel need? How much talent on the roster needs to be on the roster for them to get the team to get to the playoffs, but win in the playoffs? They're not even going to get a chance to win in the playoffs. They're going to lose this opportunity. And that is a failure beyond expectations. For me, my expectations were they had to win a playoff game. They're not even going to get there, more than likely. And that's disheartening. So I could understand some players in that locker room, especially the ones who may not be getting the big paychecks, when they're looking and going, man, what the hell is this? What am I getting myself into? What did I get myself into? Steve Malloy will talk more about this tomorrow on Real Talk Fitz Talk, on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I believe Doll's Diaries will be on tomorrow. And, of course, Caneswear. We'll talk about the Canes later on in the show here. And then Fitz Stanza and Greg will be on for overtime on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Well, they will definitely get more into this. So keep tuning in. And please, if you believe Miami legitimately has a chance to make a run for the playoffs, let me know. If you legitimately believe McDaniel's the right coach for this job and that maybe he didn't get a fair shake or whatever, let me know. I'm open. I'm open to hear what people are saying about it. Honestly, I don't think there's an excuse for this. I don't. They made their bed, literally made their bed, and this is what's made of it. So, tough news for the Miami Dolphins and the fans. Again, no help yesterday, and definitely no help today with these stories that are coming out now out of Miami. And congratulations, though, as we're on the Dolphins, to Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill on the birth of his child. Congratulations to him and his family. God bless. As we move forward, we'll get into the NBA. The Heat did play today. Let's go through the scores very quick. Bear with me as I pull this up. So, Miami did play today, and they played the Boston Celtics, and it went exactly as you thought it would be. The Miami Heat fall to the Boston Celtics, 108-89. The Heat fall to 9-10 on the season. The Celtics 17-4. Jaquez was the leading scorer for Miami, or at least the top performer. He had 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals. Pritchard, their point guard out of Boston, had 25 points. The Atlanta Hawks defeated the Pelicans 124-112, dropping the Pelicans to 4-18 on the season. The Chicago Bulls at 9-13 beat the Brooklyn Nets. The Lakers lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves today, 109-80. Total beatdown, 29 points. My goodness. The Lakers now are 12-9 on the season, where the Timberwolves are 10-10, trading Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks. That is where they're at right now. Tomorrow's games, we got the 76ers at the Hornets, the Wizards at the Cavs, Bucks at the Pistons, Magic at the Knicks, Pacers at the Raptors, Jazz at the Thunder, Grizzlies and the Mavericks, Spurs Suns, Warriors Nuggets, Rockets Kings, Blazers Clippers. So a good handful of games to watch tomorrow as the NBA Cup continues. And FAU are not eyeing the Texas Tech coach, offensive coordinator. They hired him. Florida Atlantic has hired Texas Tech offensive coordinator Zach Kittley as its next head coach. He is now the youngest coach in the FBS, 33 years old. 33 years old. Now a head coach in college football. Congratulations to Zach Kittley of the Texas Tech's Red Raiders, who will now lead the Florida Atlantic Owls. Very cool. As I said, Canes Wear podcast will be live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, or 9 p.m. Eastern time, where they will discuss the Miami Hurricanes and the loss against Syracuse. Hurricanes now are 10-2 on the season after leading by, I think they were up by 20 some odd points, and the Syracuse Orange came all the way back and beat the Hurricanes in a very disappointing fashion. Very disheartening after an amazing season with Miami. Miami now will miss the the ACC championship game, which will be played against Clemson and SMU. And the Hurricanes now, who were through the season projected to make the college football playoffs, are now hanging on by a thread. Teams now, it's being reported, or at least these media outlets are pushing for Alabama to make it. Call us. What's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. Agreed. A new GM and a new head coach. Yes, sir. If you fire one, fire the other. That's what I believe. You can't keep one. I'm done with that. That's the rinse and repeat. Not getting rid of them, one or the other. Getting rid of both of them is not rinse and repeat. That's something fresh because Miami has not done that. One and the other. Fire them both. But yeah, with a 42-38 loss to Syracuse on Saturday, the Hurricanes right now are looking like they could be eliminated from college football playoffs, which is crazy. They were ranked 6th heading into the weekend, and that would have secured them a spot in the ACC championship game. But losing to Syracuse allows them to lose that spot. Now they're 10-2, and that leaves them clinging to a very slim hope that they could make the playoffs. You know, the SEC, which there is a bias there, or so-called bias, Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss could make that jump over Miami. Do they deserve to be over Miami? Alabama has 3 losses. I mean, you know, and bad losses. Now, credit, Miami has lost games they are not supposed to lose. Their defense has been suspect all season, and it cost them the game. I mean, Cam Ward can only do so much. So with the SEC bias, with the disappointing losses for Miami, because Miami's losses are against teams they should beat. That's what's crazy. Yeah, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, which was, great for Vanderbilt, but still, Miami, that's the thing. There's a bias for the Alabama. They want to see Roll Tide in the playoffs. There's always a bias against Miami, whatever team that may be, it seems like, with the national media. So is it surprising now that the Hurricanes may be just totally out of the college football playoffs? No, it's not surprising. It's disappointing, though. But they put themselves in that position. Moving on again on Wednesday, though, talk about Major League Baseball free agency. Russ Morgan, host of On Deck Baseball Podcast, will have his former co-host Rob Mosley, aka known as or formerly known as Dolphins Thirsty. He'll be on the show with him talking Boston Red Sox and the Juan Soto sweepstakes. It seems like every day, every week, there's a new update on Juan Soto. Now it's Juan Soto, that the Boston Red Sox offered him a deal. It's a public deal. They made it known. It's not some secret. And that they are the front runners for Juan Soto, which is huge for the Boston Red Sox. Disheartening for the Yankees. Disheartening for the Mets. So that's a continued watch. Tune in on Wednesday night with Russ Morgan and Rob Mosley as they discuss that. Make sure I'm not missing anything here with baseball. Perfect. So, yeah. So just tune in on Wednesday night as Rob Mosley and Russ Morgan dive deeper into the Red Sox offseason and Juan Soto possibly ending up on the Red Sox. We might have some breaking news. He may sign there before the show even airs. The Blue Jays are another team that seem to be in contention, leading right there as a front runner as well. So very interesting to see where that goes. Russ Morgan, I will say, has very interesting takes on Juan Soto. Obviously a great hitter, but there's some other check box marks that he does not hit that Russ would prefer him to hit. So you got to tune into that show. But anyway, guys, this was Sports Nation. I'm Bobby Melendez. I appreciate you all tuning in. For those who did, Newfoundland, great to see you. Fire McDaniel. Fire Greer. McDaniel stays for at least another season. Gotcha. But for me, Newfoundland, I'll just say this. First off, brother, I appreciate you watching right now, joining me at this late hour. Forgive me for my voice. Getting overs up here, tried to. To me, that's rinse and repeat. I get it. For what I would be okay with at that point, if you were to fire Greer but keep McDaniel, is when you hire the new general manager or vice president of football operations, whomever that may be, that you give them the right to decide to keep McDaniel. Don't marry McDaniel to some new GM. Don't bring in a new GM and say, hey, man, you have to work with Coach McDaniel. No. Hire a new GM and you give him full control. Look, man, I didn't fire McDaniel yet. This is you. You decide what to do at this point. Let them interview McDaniel, see if they're, if they're bread and butter, if they match up and they mix up well. If they do, I'm fine with it. If they don't, then move on. Get another coach, work with someone else. That's where I stand on it. I understand some people are like, oh, no, we got to give McDaniel another chance. Greer's been, yeah, I get it. To me, though, if you do that, you kind of rinse and repeat the same thing. Keep one, fire the other. Keep one, fire the other. Either fire them both or give the power to the new general manager to decide to move forward with the coach. Aaron Glenn for head coach. You know who I'm interested in? Look, like I said, I'm a veteran coach guy. Mike Vrabel all the way. 100%. I'm all full steam ahead with Mike Vrabel. If the Dolphins decide to go another direction as head coach, I'm full steam ahead on Mike Vrabel. If it's a rookie coach, I know a lot of people think about Ben Johnson, but he's talking about, oh, I'm gonna make play calls. I'm not interested in that. I want a coach who's gonna delegate tasks. You're OC, you're DC, I'm coach. That's what I prefer. But a coach that's interesting to see. I want to keep my eyes on Chicago Bears interim head coach Thomas Brown. That guy has a bright future. I know I'm not interested in rookie coach. I know where none of us are interested in rookie coaches, but he's one I'd keep an eye on. And in other words, though, another type of coach I prefer, if not a veteran, is a former player. And no, not like Dahl says. I'm not talking about Deion Sanders. I'm not advocating for that, but a former player. You look at DeMarco Ryan in Houston. You look at Mike Vrabel. You look at Jared Mayo. You look at these guys. The command the respect of the locker room. Physical football teams. I know Jared Mayo right now is coach of the Patriots. They're not looking good right now. Got to give them some time. But I would prefer a guy who would come in, who's been in that locker room in regards of playing in those type of situations, who could get into a player's face because they know he's been in this situation. So a former player speaks volumes, but a former head coach is down there. Mike Vrabel would definitely toughen this team up. There will be no soft vocabulary in Miami from any player if Mike Vrabel's the head coach. I 100% agree. And this would be his second opportunity. He brought the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill and company to the AFC Championship. He knows what it takes. He knows where he failed. And I believe he'll know how to now move forward and succeed. There's enough talent in this roster that will attract a coach like that. But he would add the element of physicality to this offense and take off that soft label. But hey, we're way ahead of the curve here. The season will play out. We'll see it goes down. My guess, or what my thought process is, if Miami's officially eliminated from contention or Miami lays another dud, especially against the Jets, we might see some surprises. We might see some turnovers. Any ideas on a GM? I'll tell you who I'm iffy about that I don't have an idea on. I know a lot of people throw that name out there. And I guess it's a sexy name for them. Not for me, is Louis Riddick. I am kind of on that. I want a guy who's been in the league. I want a guy who a part of a successful franchise. Maybe one of the general, maybe somebody working on the Kansas City Chiefs. Someone like that, who's a part of franchise, who knows what it's like to build a team from the inside out. The trenches, quarterback, running back, linebacker, safety, etc. I'm not in on the whole Louis Riddick thing. I would be, supportive if it went down just because, it's the Dolphins. But that's, I know a lot of people put his picture up. Oh, Louis Riddick. No. I want a guy who has experience in building, or is on a team that's done it before. That's build a winner. That's build a strong team, a physical team. That's what I prefer. I know a lot of names have been thrown out there. I've heard Scott Pioli. He's a veteran general manager. He's been with the Chiefs. He has connections in Miami. Another name I've heard of is, Coach Belichick. Does he, I know a lot of people say, oh, Belichick for a coach. I would not want him as a coach, but that's totally me being biased to Shula. I don't want him beating the Shula's record. And I sure as hell don't want him beating Shula's record here in Miami. Now, president of football operations, general manager, maybe him as GM and then Vrabel as head coach, I'm down with. I'd be okay with that. But that's what, if you have any ideas, please throw them out there. That'd be great. Love to know. The Dolphins could be worse off. Jerry and Stephen Jones running things. Oh, yeah. Well, no, Jerry and Stephen Jones, trust me. Imagine if he fired Greer Ross and he said, I'm going to run the team. I'm going to be the general manager. You don't want that. Now, kudos to Jerry Jones. He's won championships. That was years ago. Now they're like caught in a trap. It's like Vince McMahon in WWE. Vince McMahon was great. He made wrestling what it was. But then, and now, they had it by a chokehold and they finally got him out. Now wrestling's great again. That's what maybe what happened with the Cowboys when Jerry Jones finally leaves or whatever. We're fine with Ross. Ross just needs to, learn how to freaking, fire everybody, clean house, get your buddies, call them up, say, hey man, let's do this. Let's figure it. Let's get some guys together and do a full reset in regards to the front office and the staff. Don't rinse and repeat. Hell no to Billy B. Hell no to Bill Belichick. I get it. That's a name that I know was being thrown out there. I know people started saying head coach. I'm not cool with head coach at all. Again, the only thing I'd be open with him is front office. That's it. If that was a situation, because he's a former coach, he's a champion coach, and go from there. He comes from the Bill Belichick tree, Bill Parcells tree. And we know what Bill Belichick is, how many championships he has. But, again, Bill Parcells had the right formula when he was running Miami. It just didn't work out. He didn't do it right. He didn't bring in the right people. But he had the right formula, building the trenches. Jake Long with the number 1 overall pick, going quarterback in the second round with Chad Henne and so forth. He ended up leaving after they changed owners, but still, right mindset. And he brought a no nonsense coach. Dolphins made the playoffs, didn't win. We just need a guy who can win in the playoffs. But anyway, there will be more discussion throughout the week. There will be more discussion throughout the off season. Especially throughout the season, especially on FTSN. I appreciate everybody tuning in and joining me at this late hour. I am going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys. If you don't see me tomorrow night, it might be on Wednesday night. Till then, like and subscribe, and good night.